we got it. Vans, I gotta tell you, man, I think you guys are awesome. This is terrible. I mean, just...
Six months later.
Hey y'all, Ryan Gronfin here. It's been almost 8 months since I've posted a video, and I want to apologize for that. Let me just give you a quick update here. The tail cone's attached. Rudder, brake lines, fuel lines, like a whole lot of stuff has happened. So we'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to give you just kind of a quick update on life. If you're interested, watch it. If not, fast forward a couple minutes. One, I'm losing weight, which is great. I was looking back at some of my videos. I got pretty out of control there. I'm not where I need to be yet, but I'm losing weight. Two, I'm not shiny anymore. I went for a checkup around my birthday like 5 months ago, and the eye doctor was like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just been like 4 or 5 years." He's like, "You having trouble seeing?" I'm like, "No, not at all." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Usually around like your age, people have trouble. You know, they need readers." I'm like, No, I'm good. Like, not at all." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Just step into here and do this." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, Yeah. Why? He's like, "Well, you sure you're good?" I'm like, I'm good. Like, I can see everything." He's like, "The computer says you might need some glasses." I'm like, "No, I'm good. So we step in the back room. He's like, "Read the sign." I'm like, "I can go right to the second line." He's like, "Read it." So I read it, and I'm like, "How'd I do?" He's like, "You did good." He's like, hits a button, and like the little thing goes in front of my eye. He's like, "Now read the second line." And I'm like, oh. So they're 0.75. These are Amazon like $5 readers. I've got 10 pairs of them around the house, but you'll start seeing me use them now for up close work. But really the reason it's been like 8 months since I've done a video, I've been working on the airplane. I am so busy at work. I'm blessed to be busy. My restaurant consulting business is doing great, but I might have told you guys early in the year, or the end of last year, the end of 2023, I took on 2 partners for my software. It's called ClickBacon. It's a restaurant financial dashboard management tool. We're using a lot of AI to automatically process documents and things for restaurants. But it's always been sort of this secondary thing of mine. I hired a couple developers. We built it 10 years ago. It does fine. It doesn't do great. It's a great tool. It's just me. It's a small company, literally. But in 2023, I decided it's time. So I took on 2 partners. They brought an investment into the company, and we've been developing like hardcore, and we are going live this week. We are first week of October 2024, and we're going live with our whole new version. So it has been intense. Phone calls late at night with India and the Philippines, phone calls early in the morning, weekends with my partners. We've been traveling to Baltimore, where one of them is, Houston, where the other one is. So I've just been really busy. Like, I find time to work on the airplane, but I've been busy. My son plays select baseball, so it's been tournaments, it's been travel, summertime, a couple vacations, which is great. But like, I've found time to build, but like editing videos has not been on my list. So, point is, the tail cone is attached. There's not really anything special I need to tell you about attaching the tail cone. You will see in the next like 10 videos as I release them, all of the stuff that I had to do before I attached the tail cone. But I made the decision to permanently attach the tail cone. It's attached like you saw. Fuel system is in, brake system is in, rudder system is in, floor pans are in, electrical basic is in. So we've done a lot of work. Just wanted to give you a quick update here. Keep watching the video for more stuff related to the tail cone. I'm gonna kind of go back in time to about 6-7 months ago right now. And then I'm just gonna get you caught up. I'm gonna start releasing videos here over the next couple weeks and hopefully get you caught up with where I'm at. But there you go. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, trust me, it didn't make it much easier, but I've seen people use like plastic like scrapers, but I have all these plastic X-Acto knives. If if you stick them under these ribs, it opens it up a little bit, but it didn't make it that much easier. It was still ridiculously hard. All right, so the tail cone section is complete. I've gone ahead and dimpled everything that's supposed to get dimpled. Well, not everything. I haven't dimpled this yet, the top piece, because I'm gonna be priming that. But gone ahead and dimpled, riveted. This is part of the next section, but obviously it's removed. Now, technically the tail cone section is not complete because I would have put it back on and started riveting it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna wait to rivet it on. I know I've got the yaw dampener coming, and I know I've got the knack event coming, and I'm gonna do the knack events on the side. And then I think after that, I should have my paint ready so I can start painting the interior. And then I'll probably attach the tail cone at that point. And then once the tail cone's attached, I can do some of the other stuff, like start working on the door and things like that. But I don't want to do any of that until the tail cone's attached. So that's probably it for the tail cone section right now. So I was pretty excited to get the yaw dampener mount installed before I put the tail cone on the airplane. And it showed up. It took about 3 weeks from Vans because they're just so behind on stuff right now. And when it showed up a couple of weeks ago, as I flipped through the instructions, I realized you need the elevator mount to mount the yaw dampener. So then I had to order that. Aircraft Spruce was back ordered on it, but Dynon had it, and they got it out to me pretty quick. So what looked like a simple project, actually, I don't want to say it was difficult, but there was a little bit of customization. Not customization, I just had to, when you get it, you'll see there's some mounts that go back here, and I just had to enlarge some holes to make sure that they fit over the existing rivets. But then match drilling this was really difficult because the nut plates are already on, and so I didn't want to drill through the nut plates because I didn't want to ruin the threads. So I just was very careful with my calipers and my measurements. But other than that, I mean, it's not hard. It just took a little time. But if you're planning on doing a yaw mount, I suggest you get the pitch servo mount and do all of this at the same time. Would be like even when you build it, like before you even put these nut plates on. But again, if they're already on, it's not the end of the world. But yep, so that's done. And now I've got my static air, my ram air. I think I'm ready to attach the tail cone now more permanently so I could finish all this stuff up. All right, so a couple updates on the tail cone. Knack event, rear knack event, we'll talk about that in a second. First, I talked about some of the paint I got from Stewart Systems. I'm not an experienced painter, so I suck at painting, one, and I'm not sure about this paint. But basically, some of this stuff like this, it was a little too windy yesterday. I probably shouldn't have been painting, but I wanted to really try this out and see how I liked it. So unfortunately, right at the end when my paint was still tacky and curing, a little wind came up and blew it off of the table. But so be it. The bigger issue is I experimented with something. I did a couple of really light coats, like 3 or 4 really light coats, and I wasn't getting coverage. So then I put kind of my last heavy coat on, and what I thought was a good coat gave me some orange peeling. There, you were able to see it. And then I put on a really heavy coat, which smoothed it out, but it's really heavy. Like you could almost see how thick it is. So I'm gonna experiment again. I have enough paint to do probably 2 more batches and try it out just to see, you know, if it's me. I might also just go over to Sherwin-Williams or PPG and get some automotive paint. But basically what this was the Stewart Systems, their Eco Acrylic. I did 8 ounces of Eco Acrylic, 2 ounces of hardener, 1 ounce of flattener, which did basically nothing. The recommended is up to 50% flattener. So I did 25% flattener, and it did nearly nothing. And 2 ounces of water, which is the high end of their recommendation, 25%. So, and that might have been too much actually, now that I think about it. I think they recommend 15 to 20%, and now I just thought about that, I did 25% water. So paint might have been too thin. So I'm gonna run another batch and experiment with it. But also, I don't mind the orange peeling because it's interior. And what I mean is, like, this has sort of that texture. It's hard to tell, but this has, yeah, you can see it there. This has a little bit of texture to it. So I don't mind that, but I'm just wanting to learn how to get better at painting. Okay, number 2, when I bought these NAC events, these SV1s are dirt cheap from Vans. I think they came with this template, or I downloaded it somewhere. But anyway, so I printed out a bunch of templates, only cut out the inside piece, and then there's a lot of posts about doing this. Some of the posts say line up the front at the 5th rivet, 1, 2, 3, 5. So line it up right here. And it looks like there's nothing wrong with that at all. But then I also read some posts that said the rear of the vent should be 34 inches from your static port hole, which is right here. Some say to line it parallel with this, and some say to line it parallel with this. Let me tell you, they are very, very slightly off. I think like this is like 5.5 inches, and this is like 5 3/4 inches. So it's like a 1/4 inch over the span of like 2.5 feet. So it's a very small difference. To be completely honest with you, it was easier for me to line it up here, and I do believe this is the straight access of the airplane because it runs straight to the turtle deck where the horizontal stabilizer goes. So I'm pretty sure this is the straight access, and visually you're not going to be able to see a difference. So it was easier for me using this because I could just set my square on here and then extend my lines down and know that I'm getting square. So all I did then is I found the center point on the template. I drew a straight line through the template. I drew my rear line. I measured in 2 places and drew a straight line and then lined it up. So then now I will trace the outside of this, get me a really thick line, and then I'll remove that and start cutting it out. I guess it's not gonna be too bad. One of the reasons I wanted to do it further back than further front is the Aerosport thing is gonna be hanging about right here. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough room to loop my lines like here and up, rather than having it up here. Then the lines are still gonna have to go all the way back because the back of, I cut myself yesterday. The back of it is like right here. So anyways, I'll post a picture or a link to the pictures of the guy that I liked how he did it. It was from like 15 years ago. Yeah, and that's about it. I'll update you more as we go. I really hate doing things as serious as drilling a hole in the side of my empennage, but I'm about to do it. So again, some people put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th rivet back. I think the only problem with that for me is then it just has to go further. It has to go further back to come up. If I started a little further back, it just loops up. I think it's gonna be in the way of the end number anywhere it goes. If it goes here, 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 or here. I know one person who put it here because they were afraid of it interfering with the static port, but to be honest with you, that's not really a concern of mine. No one has brought that concern up. So I'm gonna drill 4 holes in the corners and then get going on the Dremel. So in typical Ryan Gromfrin fashion, I was gonna do it back here, and I buckled to the pier pressure, and I did it at the 5th rivet. I looked at some end numbers online, and it looks like end numbers kind of run from this bottom rivet up to about here. Some go up to here depending, but I figured the closer up it is, we can kind of start my end right here, and I have plenty of room. And so now let's see how I did. Oh, I guess I missed some spots down here. I thought I had it all, but I think I did pretty good. I'll get that popped out, and then we'll clean it up, or we'll do the rough cut on the other side, and then we'll clean it up. So I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but I'm really happy with how these came out. I got them cleaned up nice. Yeah, just really happy with that. These are glued in now, so you'll see from that side. I just roughen them up and then use JB Weld. And then I also want to show you, these are from Dynon. These are the static ports. They're really nice. Again, I just kind of drilled out the hole, roughened it up, JB welded them in, but you can see these are just really nice. I mean, nearly flush, just a little hole. I'm really happy with those. So I got those in there too. Again, kind of jumping around here with video, sorry, but wanted to make sure you saw everything. So like I said earlier, I've been really busy with work and travel, but I got to fly out to Galveston to meet my business partner. I got to test my Aether high altitude oxygen system. We got some good instrument flying there. And then I got to move to a new hangar. Let me fill you in on that. All right, we're doing another move. We're going to the hangar right now. We've got Tyson. Say hi, Tyson.
Hi.
Tyson's building a 14. That's his 14 tail cone. And then we got my vertical stabilizer, horizontal, elevator, rudder, and wings. And then wing tips and things are in his car. And we'll see you at the hangar.
Yeah, you got plenty. You're good. That's probably good.
All right, so here we are at the hangar. The gentleman that I'm renting it from is building himself like a little living room and a bedroom. And then this is where the renters can come in. There's a kitchen, bathroom, and kind of a washroom. And then hangar for 3. So we've got a little workshop here. He's building a 14. All my stuff now for the 10, the fuselage and tail cone are in my garage. We've got engine, lifts, which is great, and then just some other guys' storage stuff. But eventually there'll be 3 airplanes in here. I'll probably have to move my stuff a little bit. 1 airplane for me, and then 2, 3. We'll figure it out. But yep, there you go. So everything's here.